What's going on YouTube? CPUSLAYER here, back with another video, and today we're going to be doing an LG G6 rumor review. It's pretty much going to talk about what we expect from LG dropping phones this year, especially just G6 that's coming out probably in March. You know, it's the beginning of the year, it's the first quarter. Samsung's dropping a phone, obviously. HTC dropped one. Sony should drop one. Those are the big major players in the game. Obviously Motorola, they drop whenever. You know, things of that nature. An iPhone, they do in September, so we'll get to that later. But let's talk about the G6 and what should we expect from them. As you know, you should have a release date of March. But as far as my speculation, this is what I think that we should have with the phone and what I've researched and what I've came up with. For one, the display. It's going to be a 5.7-inch display. It's going to be a Quad HD 2880 by 1440. Something a little different about it. It's going to actually have an 18.9 ratio, aspect ratio, which means if you don't know what that is, just thinking about it as a flat screen TV. It's pretty wide, and you know, it's a 69 ratio, but this one should actually be a little longer in view, about this way, going this way. So it's very interesting that they're going there, right? So that means it should be a little slimmer since they're going a little bit more. Now, I don't know if that means they're going to incorporate the second screen like they did the LG V20, but I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the LG V20. I have one. I really enjoy the second screen, but sometimes I find that it's really not a good beneficial use at times, but it's there, it's okay. Maybe they're gonna work with something new to fix that. As we know right now, as the CPU, we're gonna run with the Snapdragon 821 processor. That's the one that came with the Google Pixel. I would assume that they was gonna go with the 835, but noticing with the news that just came out that Samsung just bought a heap of chips from Qualcomm for that Snapdragon, which means nobody's gonna get it but Samsung, so expect them with that. But if they do come out with the 835, I will be happy. I will be excited, promise you on that one. It should come with 4 to 6 gigs of RAM. You probably ain't gonna notice it from day-to-day use, but it's gonna be there. They're gonna have the space, and you know, that's typical. As far as storage space, we should be looking at a standard 64 gigabytes. That's what they're seeming to go with. Their normal now. You know, they started it off with the V10 and look like it's going to carry on with that. They will have an SD card slot. Micro SD card slot is the number one thing that's going to probably separate them from a lot of people. But you know, as you know, Samsung added theirs back, and a lot of other people probably going to be back in the game. Google Pixel didn't do that, but that's okay. But I guess a lot of people did it on storage, because since the V20, remember, it was a camera phone. It was a very great multimedia phone for doing videos and recording. So they had to have a lot of storage. So that's why they added that. And I think they're going to do that with the same with the LG G6. Now, for the camera, we quite don't know. I haven't found any information on it. I would assume that it's going to be an upgraded version, maybe 2.0. It should be something a lot better. It may not be upgraded. I would be a little disappointed if it's not a small upgrade, because I mean, you use the same processor for 2 years, same camera for 2 years. So it's time to upgrade. Let's give us something different. So I expect something different there. Now on the front facing camera, they should have, from what I heard and seen, that they will have an 8 megapixel front facing camera, also with an iris scanner. Now that's going to be something interesting. Are they going to beat Samsung to the punch? Because as you know in the news, that Samsung's thinking about doing that with the S8, and that's going to be very interesting to see what they do and how they implement that and how well it comes. You know, granted, now you can just look at your phone and, you know, hey, log in. I think that's kind of cool. So I mean, that's going to be really awesome, and hope that's great. And let's see what else they add. I mean, you know, HTC with their front-facing camera, they had image stabilization, so maybe they may do that with this G6, but we never know. As far as battery, as you know, the V20, it had a 3000. I'm expecting a bigger battery. I want a 3200. I don't want a 3000. I don't want a 31. I want a 32. Give me something worth doing it. I know big upgrades are hard to come by. You know, we're not going to get the big 34 to 35 that we want in the battery life, but I expect the 32. Now, basically on the ports, I think they're gonna go stick with the norm, USB Type-C, which is becoming more and more popular. A lot of manufacturers are beginning to use it. I expect them to keep the headphone jack to be different from everybody else. I don't expect them to copy iPhone or throwing away the headphone jack, because obviously on the V20, they had that quad DAC, which is amazing, and I mean amazing. And I think you're gonna really enjoy it. If you don't have the V20, you should get it. It's really good for music, recording, doing even videos. I did one, it was my first video that I did, and it was really awesome. And that was, really nice. A couple other things that they speculated, that it may be waterproof with that, and that's a good thing. That's a great positive. If it's gonna be waterproof, it's open. We're gonna welcome it with open arms. Welcome it with open arms. So that's what we're gonna expect. I expect that. If it's gonna be there, it should be like an IP67 or an IP68, which means it's just a little deeper. It doesn't really mean too much of a difference, but it's welcome. Wireless charging should be one thing that's speculated that it may have. That's going to be awesome. No longer cables. At times you may just plop it on the table when you're at sleep or your bedside or whatever. With that being said, doing wireless charging, that means it possibly to have a glass back. And that's kind of, copying Samsung, and obviously going with the glossy look with the iPhone 7 did with the jet black. So them doing this, we're gonna see if it's still gonna keep a premium look, because for one, yes, having a glass back is all great and all, and have the premium look, but we're gonna think about durability and how that looks. Obviously, that's gonna be a big fingerprint magnet on the phone. So, yeah, it may look good, but there's gonna be some drawbacks. Honestly, I love the metal design that they did with the V20, and I hope they continue that. I love to have a device that feels really good and solid in the hand. Now, with all those specs and having those things in there, we should have a price point between $599 and $799. Now, the reason why I'm in between that is because of the chipset. Now, if they go with the 835 Snapdragon, I'm gonna say it's on the high end of the $799, but if they go with the 821, 821's been out for a while, production is probably pretty cheap for it, so we should get between that $599 and $799, maybe $699, it depends on the place. But this is in the US. In other spots, it could be more. UK it could cost $800. Canada it costs $1,000. So it just depends on where we're going to be at with that. So it's very, it's very interesting. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Also go in the comments and leave your thoughts. Tell me what you think that the LG G6 may be, and just give me your thoughts and everything, and just leave it in the comments below. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. New content will be coming soon. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mailman. Until next time, peace.